There we go. So I was muted that entire time. So allow me to have to do that all over again. Um, Give me a second, guys. I hate when it does this. It's so corny. Um, One second though. One second though. One second though. All right. So yo, what is going, guys? Trainer Oblivio. We're doing a Pokemon 30th anniversary prediction stream with JasonHendrixs and Sarge. They're going to be joining me here in a second. I'll turn them up and I'll unmute myself so you guys can hear. We're just going to be discussing about everything's going to happen tomorrow, and I did want to let you guys know that tomorrow on Pokemon Day I will be home, so I will be following along with the news. I will be working, so I don't know how much all I will be able to like broadcast to you guys, but I will be keeping up with the news. I will be talking about everything. But super quick, let me just go ahead and introduce them. You guys good?
For my two, yes, sir. We
Nice.
are good. I'm with Trainer Oblivio,
Yo.
YT, and I'm with Sarge Plays. And today we are going to be talking about Pokemon's 30th anniversary with the two goats.
Absolutely.
The two goats is about to be a crazy stream. I feel like it's going crazy. And first and foremost, Sarge, Oblivio, if you guys want to say hi to everybody or to do some extra introductions, let's get it.
Appreciate
Let's
that.
start with it's Oblivio. What's good?
Appreciate that. Thank you for the intro. Once again, I just wanted to reiterate for everybody here coming through. I'm joined by JasonHendrixs and Sarge Plays tonight. We're going to be discussing a lot of the. Yo, Noah, thanks for being in the stream. We're going to be discussing a lot of predictions, a lot of talk about Pokemon's 30th anniversary. We just want to talk a little bit more about all of the news that's ongoing too. Anything that you guys might want to speculate, we'd be happy to chat with you guys as well. And of course, if you guys haven't give Sarge or JasonHendrixs any love, follow them on their socials. You can find them on YouTube. You can find them on Twitch. And let's just spread the love, guys.
While Jason's on a phone call, I'll go to introduce myself. Sarge is what I go by online. The channel rebranded to Sarge Plays last year. Started covering a lot of Pokemon content. Been a Pokemon fan since the Red and Blue days. But yeah, tomorrow gonna be a big day. 30 years Pokemon.
Crazy work.
Is insane to think about. You know what I mean? It's like it's 30 years already. So I'm only hoping for the biggest and the best. You know, they got the little stuff they're going to cover, which we'll dive into when we get to that part. But, you know, I think it's going to be a beautiful Pokemon Presents in the fact that we can appreciate something that we had as a child and see it flourish and succeed. And it's even still growing and expanding till today. So it's going to be awesome, man. It's going to be awesome.
I'm certainly hoping for it.
Yeah. And, like, the one thing I like about Pokemon is that, like, even though, like, good, bad, or indifferent how you feel about it, it has stand the test of time. At the end of the day, whether you like it or hate it, you still gonna play it. It's like Pokemon is like the heel of the industry. Like, you're just gonna have to do it. But Oblivio, what were you gonna say?
I was just saying I'm hoping for it. I hate to be the cynic between you two, but I'm definitely going to be bringing the heat when it comes to this 30th anniversary. Yeah, I'm definitely going to be a little bit opposed to some of these things because as much as I do love the Pokemon Company, Noah, to answer your question, no, I'm not hearing the blurps. Banana Boners, thanks for coming to the stream. I appreciate you. This is Jason. We're joined by JasonHendrixs and Sarge Plays today for this special prediction stream. We're going to be doing a lot of discussion, and mostly I'm just going to toss these ideas back and forth with you guys. I think we had a topic that we were just kind of starting off with. I don't know if we want to follow up with it or what direction we want to take.
I think it's about time that we should.
Yeah.
But okay, so everybody in the chat, let us know how you feel about just like give us your predictions first and foremost. Like everybody, make sure you throw your predictions, what you think we're gonna get tomorrow and stuff. But let's start off with this first topic. Pokemon Fire Red and Leaf Green was a game that pretty much was leaked, I'd say about like a couple weeks ago.
Mm-hmm.
Everybody was excited until Pokemon dropped the game, I'd say like last Friday or Saturday, whenever they shadow dropped it.
Mm-hmm.
When it was shadow dropped, at first it was very exciting until later that day when people started to realize that there's a couple things that you cannot do. You can't online trade, and you can't online battle. Basically, the game is more than likely a one-to-one. However, we don't know because Pokemon Day, they could show whatever. But I wanted to have this first debate topic between Sarge and Oblivio because Sarge and myself too, we're cool with it. But Oblivio, he's not a big fan. So I'm going to let Sarge give the first standing topics of like why it's okay, why is the game, why are people overblowing it, and then after that, Oblivio, you can give your rebuttal.
Word.
Okay. Well, I mean, we gotta think about it. When is the
Yes,
last
he
time
is
they
in
did
YouTube.
this? Was it the 3DS era, 20th anniversary?
Yeah,
Right?
yeah.
Now, I'm not going to sit here and act like, this is the best thing to happen to Pokemon, but I think it's a good step in the right direction for certain things. Now, am I fully happy with the drop? I'm happy to relive my childhood, yeah, and I think it's great because it puts the Switch in a position to become the next ultimate Pokemon device, right? They did it with the 3DS. Everybody went crazy, bought that. It was like, $8 back then, things have changed now. But I do have I have its pros and cons, if I were to give it a percentage on how I feel personally, I'm like 70. No, I would say I'm 60-40. And that 40%, I do have gripes with the release of Fire Red and Leaf Green. I'm not going to say here and be 100% all the way and say, yo, Nintendo rocks, dude. I cannot believe they did this, because it does have some mishaps. And but I think the golden opportunity right here is Pokemon, and I like to use the phrase testing the waters, because they haven't released all of them. But I think they're probably trying to see what is the reaction for them to eventually release like Ruby, Sapphire, Emerald, so forth and so forth. But I think there are some opportunities that they did miss, which once Oblivio goes, we can go ahead and compare those notes. But I do have some reserves about Fire Red and Leaf Green that I'm not happy with. But for the most part, I'm 60% on the side of, I think it's probably the right move right now for the 30th anniversary and what it means for the fans.
All right, Oblivio, it's time for you to give your rebuttal and show us what the other opposite side of the community, because on Twitter, everybody was so angry and everybody's rallying up and just crashing out on Twitter over a game that costs $20. Oblivio's on you.
All right, I appreciate that. I think that was a really fair assessment of pretty much exactly what Sarge was saying about what's going on with the Switch and its compatibility, and then dropping the games and everything. Here's my gripes on what exactly the issue is for me, right? Now, I'm going to address a couple of gripes that I've seen on Twitter, a couple of gripes that I've heard in the community that just kind of need to be flat out just kind of kicked out of the water, so we're not going over the same nonsense over and over again. The first one I would say is, oh, why didn't they put it on Nintendo Switch Online? Well, that's very easy. The Pokemon Company has a very massive problem with with its shiny community. A huge problem with its shiny community, as you guys already know, with all of the shiny all the shiny bots and all the shiny farming and all that other stuff, and like, it'd be great if the shiny community was collaborative in the form of like, okay, now we have new methods to hunt. But no, most of the time, unfortunately, it's, we got a new bot. We have a new bot that's going to make it super simple to do this and that, and I'm just going to hand them out like candy, and it just makes it just defeats the purpose, first of all, and it just makes the shinies pretty much obsolete, which that's a whole different topic for a whole nother time. But I think the issue here is that they wouldn't want to put this on Nintendo Switch Online, because that would become the reality. People would just have a save file or a save state where they would have the same kind of shiny and just farm. And like, in the best case scenario, it's an actual streamer that actually hunted the shiny and got it full odds, and they just want to keep that save state there so they can give it to their viewers, that's cool. But in reality, it's going to be a bot that's playing the game that's going to continue to do it over and over and over again and just farm it and ship it out to whoever. And so that's why that's an issue. So we are going to fully understand why they had to put it on the eShop, and we're going to fully understand the reasonings for behind that. I'm also not entirely mad at that fact, because they could have done the normal Pokemon Company greed route, and they could have just slapped a $40, $60 title on a ban for ban, like frame for frame exact copy of the exact game, and they could have gypped a bunch of the community. That would have really pissed me off, because then I would have been like, this is just corporate greed. Like, they don't even care at this point. They're just gypping you guys. But they didn't. They were conscious of the fact. They gave it a little $19.99 price tag. That's all right. That's valid. Okay, counterpoint, they could easily disable the save state. They did it for the 3DS Virtual Console. Yes, and I'm with you there. I was going to get to that point. They could disable that. So I'm with you on that point, but at least they didn't slap a full... They didn't go the BDSP route, where they literally made the same game frame for frame and slapped a brand new price tag on it. That shit is so annoying. With the exception of the Grand Underground and the shiny or the legendaries at the end. But yes, could they have disabled the save state? They really could have. They could have just made it easier, more streamlined to do resets, so that way. But that could get complicated, because I could see how it would only apply to the Pokemon games on the Nintendo Switch Online, and I see how that could be an issue. But I agree with that point entirely, Chimchar. Thank you for bringing it up. My gripe with this, though, is the fact that, and it's funny because it's just a personal gripe, it's got nothing to do with the community or anything like that, is the fact that when I went to go look for my Fire Red and my Leaf Green, my Fire Red stopped working. I don't know why, because I was using it during Safari Week, and it was working perfectly fine. And then I try to boot it up again, and it just won't work. And I'm like, well, this is great. And then my Leaf Green, my niece has it, and my niece lives in Florida, and I don't live in Florida anymore. So I'm kind of in this position where I have to get Fire Red and Leaf Green again, and thankfully, this is one of the points that I do want to make for it, right? Is if you try to find an authentic copy of Fire Red and Leaf Green right now, you can literally go Google it right now. It's not going to be anything cheaper than $200. Easy. It's not going to be anything cheaper than 200 bones. So yeah. That's unfortunate, because if you really do want the authentic experience and you want to go through and you want to trade those Pokemon up from those previous generations like I've done in the past before, you can't do that without having to spend a good $200, $300, $400, and it's just unfortunate. So now they're making it available for a grand total of $40, but if you just buy one version exclusive, then you're good. However, things that I really do hate: the fact that it doesn't have online compatibility. That should have been a given. I feel like it should have. I can kind of see where they'll run into some issues if they did do that, but it just should have been a given. Like, they had the way that they had the capability to do the what was it? The infrared, the IR. I wonder how easy Ace will be in the Switch version. I wonder too. But the way that they were able to do the IR, the infrared trading back in the day for Gen 3, I feel like with the Switch's capability, they could have easily just tweaked that and made it into online. And then that way, we can trade each other the trade evolutions, and things would be great. And if you have a shiny you want to share with a friend, you can go ahead and do that. It doesn't have to just be local. So I do have a complaint about that. And I also do have a complaint about the fact that, like, I don't know, I feel like they've been lagging behind with a lot of this home compatibility stuff, and I know that they've been working hard on this 30th anniversary. I really do hope that tomorrow we're pleasantly surprised with what happens. But we still don't have ZA compatibility. I wonder when we're gonna get Fire Red or Leaf Green compatibility.
Before we get the ZA. But like, let's just say it like this, right? Before I get to the next question for you guys, my whole thing about Pokemon Fire Red and Leaf Green is that, like, it's a 30th anniversary. They did this on the 20th anniversary when they gave us, like red, blue, yellow, and then they gave us crystal, gold, and silver. and we couldn't online battle or do not anything like that on there, just like we both said before. Personally, it's $20. Think about it like this, right? And I remember I was talking in the Discord with some of the people in my community. There are people, like, guys, you guys need to understand, there are people that's like younger than us. Like,
Yeah.
we're almost as old as Pokemon.
That's true.
There's
Like,
people
it's like their
whose
first Pokemon game was Scarlet and Violet. You know what I mean?
That's true.
They don't know anything else.
First Pokemon game is Sun and Moon. It's for us, but just think about, like, just like you said, you have a niece that has Leaf Green. Like, not a lot of people have access. Like, last year, before Nintendo screwed me over with the Switch 2 by putting GameCube NSO and all that stuff on their stuff, I was going on a mission where I was going to do like Pokemon, I was going to do a Gen 3 arc where I was going to play like everything Gen 3, right? Do you understand how expensive it is? Like a Game Boy player with the disc, that's like pretty much $300.
Yo, Fester, thanks for coming to the stream. I appreciate your being here. Hopefully you can join the discussion.
That's like
Jumping the gun in the conversation right now. If we get Gen 10 release date for Remember, we'll riot. I hear you. We're gonna get it though. I'm sorry, but we're gonna get it.
200 bills. Fire Red is in my GameCube.
Yep.
That cost me like 160.
Yep.
Or so. If you get Leaf Green, it's gonna be a little bit more expensive.
Yep.
Not to mention, why is nobody mad about like Pokemon XD Gale of Darkness? Because it's gonna be the same thing. Like, you're not going to be able to battle people online in XD Gale of Darkness. And if you want to have an argument, that game looks visually appealing. Like, why are we not mad that we're not getting XD Gale of Darkness and Coliseum and we could buy it like we can do Fire Red and Leaf Green? Because I feel like that's a way better argument. Pokemon Company, why can't we buy these games when we could buy these two? Because those two games, in my opinion, are really good. Or so like that. Shiny Hunter is kind of trash, but you know, that's a different story. But let's go through for our next topic, right? So, Pokemon Champions, right?
Mm-hmm.
How do you guys? I've been hearing a lot of things about Pokemon Champions, and we're gonna segue into Sarge. And like, how do you feel about Pokemon Champions? Do you think it's gonna be Shadow Drop tomorrow? And if not tomorrow, when do you feel it's an appropriate time for Pokemon Champions? First Sarge and then Oblivio.
My wish list would be, drop it tomorrow, right? Because it's got to be used by this year. You've got to give these players time to adjust to the new system, make sure they have everything, patted down before the World Championship.
Right.
And, how many months do you technically need to learn a new... Not even a new format. This would just be a brand new system altogether, right? A whole new way, other than Scarlet and Violet, which we've been doing for 3 years now for the competitive scene.
Yeah.
My hope would be, Shadow drop it tomorrow. But if you don't and you get a release date, maybe within the next week or so. I mean, but if they're going to do like a week or so, it's kind of like, hey, kind of drop it. Now, looking on Twitter, there's a couple of people that have some reliable sources and stuff like that, and somebody said, man, I hope they really shadow drop Pokemon Champions tomorrow, but I doubt that they'll do that. All they did was leave a comment under somebody saying, are you sure about that? So I don't know. I'm hoping Champions comes out, because that would be great for everybody to kind of get their feet in the water with competitive Pokemon, especially if it's, I don't want to say simplified, but if it's as more, I don't want to say simplified, but I feel like it's just more streamlined, I guess, to kind of get into competitive and learn how to train Pokemon compared to what it is now, especially compared to what it was back in the day. So, I don't know. Hopefully we get to enjoy it after the presents. If not, hopefully a couple of days after.
All right, Oblivio.
It would be my hope that they actually release Champions tomorrow, and this is my reasons for why. So, I'll start by saying what I don't want them to release tomorrow. What I don't want them to release is information about Gen 10. Unfortunately, I've already heard some reliable sources that they are going to release information about Gen 10. And it's pretty much confirmed. Sorry for anybody who didn't want spoilers, but that's kind of what we're discussing right now. Tomorrow, it's like a 70-30 at this point, and I would probably say even more that tomorrow they're going to announce Gen 10 for sure. I wish they wouldn't. I wish they'd give it a little bit more time, and I know that's crazy to hear in the Pokemon community because I'm sorry, love you guys, I really do. I am part of the Pokemon community, but if the Pokemon company put a turd and put the Pokemon logo over it, you guys would eat it up, and that's crazy. You need more self-respect.
Before we get to Gen 10, as you who's really good at competitive battling and stuff like that, right? What do you feel like we're gonna get, or what do you feel like we're gonna see once Pokemon Champions comes out? Or what do you, all right, let's do this. What are your hopes for Pokemon Champions? Like, what are game modes? And then Sarge, Oblivio, and then Sarge. What are you hopeful, or what do you want to see? And then after that, I'll give mine's last.
Like what do we want to see, like, within the game itself?
Yeah, like, what kind of modes, like, what kind of, like...
Oh, yeah, I got something for that. Okay.
Word.
And stuff like that.
So, I think the Champions is kind of poised to be the Pokemon Company's answer to Showdown. So, Showdown's obviously been huge in the community for a while, where people go on there and they just do whatever they can for their battles. So I want to hope that that's their answer for Showdown. And what I pray, it's a long shot and a long shot in the dark, but what I pray is that it's set up in a similar fashion. So with Showdown, there's a bunch of settings, there's a bunch of rules. You can do NU battles, you can do UU battles, OU battles, and these are the different, for those who don't know, they're different tiers in Pokemon competitive. There's free-for-alls, you can do legend spam, you can do whatever you want there. You set it up how you want, you battle people within that community to do it that way too. I understand that they're going to try to make a game, but I just pray that it's detailed like that, where if you want to do the legend spam and the brainless whatever, go for it. Have fun. Do your thing. Be brainless and spam Astral Barrage with your Spectrier. Nobody cares. But then when there are people that actually genuinely want to compete and have some seriously fun battles, I hope that there's modes for that too. I hope that there's a place where you can go, you can do whatever grind you need to do to get your Pokemon battle ready, and then you could just go in and hash it out with whatever trainers there is there. I hope that there is a ranking system. I hope that there's rewards for this ranking system. I hope that the further up you go in this ranking system, you start to develop, you get certain unlockables, you get certain whatever, even if it's like a badge or something. Sonny, what's up? Thanks for coming to the stream. I appreciate you. I hope that it's just something that you can flex and just be like, you know, I've gotten this far in this rank, and that would be a lot of fun. I think I would enjoy that thoroughly. You would probably find me hanging out in the RU and NU tiers, just ripping it up, because I'll probably stay away from OU and Ubers.
Okay, so Sarge, now your turn.
Okay.
What are the features and all that?
So, I did a video covering like a little bingo board of what I expected to see for Pokemon Day, and I had two things on there for Pokemon Champions. We either get the Shadow Drop announcement, or we get a final trailer. And in the final trailer, if they were to say, hey, here's more to talk about in depth with Pokemon Champions, and then at the end they give like a reveal, right? I want to see them show off Dynamaxing, the Z moves, right? The other gimmicks that we have in the game. When it comes to the game itself, I've seen a lot of people on the internet talk about they gotta have some kind of story progression, you know? I don't know how that would work. I don't know if it would take like the Masters EX route,
Absolutely.
right? Kind of just like little simple things to kind of grind quests. But I don't know if they would, because Champions is for strictly VGC and the battling, right? For competitive.
Right.
But I think we need to see more variety as far as game modes, because they're going to want they're going to want to, what's the word I'm looking for? They're going to want to tailor to the masses, right? And you're going to need both competitive and casual. And this will bring in people that, you know, maybe were curious. This is going to bring in people like myself that have dabbled into it and maybe want to take it a little bit more seriously. And then others that are like really into the competitive niche. Now, I think they should have some game modes like, you know, a rank ladder, casual lobbies like we know that they talked about for just like regular battles. But also maybe there were some comments that I got from my community that said, what if they had different challenges, right? Maybe you could go through and there's like events where we take on gym leaders from different regions and we can kind of, stuff like that just to kind of grind and earn the VP.
Yeah.
And then from there we get the VP, right? And then we can just kind of go in, train our Pokemon, and then get on the ladder. But I don't know if there would be a lot of different quote unquote game modes for Pokemon Champions. I know a lot of people question: is this going to be something that can withstand the test of time? Well, I mean, it's going to have to, right? If it's the new form of VGC. But I don't know if they'll be worried about how they make the casual players stay, if they're going to be adding different events or different things, different game modes like the gym leader challenges or, whatever the case is. But I do hope they have some kind of variety of things, even for us that want to grind this game, to not make it feel like a grind machine over and over and over for VP. But in the end, you know what you're getting into with Champions, VGC, straight battling, and if that's what you love, I feel like you're going to like it regardless, whether they announce something fire or not. It's you're not going to please everybody, and I guarantee you there's going to be some people that see everything for Champions tomorrow and are still going to be pissed off. But I just feel like there's a few ways you can go about it, and fingers crossed that that'll grow up.
And the thing about Pokemon Champions and stuff like that is just to pick up of like what you said and stuff like that. Like when it comes to Pokemon Champions, like they have to make it casual friendly, which might like piss off like half the fan base because they're gonna simplify it. It's just like how when it's like Tekken or Street Fighter, how like the newer games you could just press 2 buttons and you could do a combo. So I feel like there's going to be some sort of like thing that's going to piss off the community. However, it's going to make things fair because there are people who have been playing VGC. Secondly, I feel like it's going to be successful because Pokemon has become very popular in the coming years in competitive battling to the point where like they have to make the price go higher if you want to go to local tournaments.
Yeah.
Or something like that. Just to deter people from joining because like there's a lot of people that
there's a lot of people joining now. It's getting bigger and bigger every year.
And like the thing about Pokemon is like it's just growing more and more. When we talk about Pokemon cards, when we talk about the games and all that stuff, like Pokemon Champions or so like that, I feel like is going to usher in
we'll go home
this new set of like VGC players, and like they don't even know like the game is about to go crazy. Like it might be the Fortnite of Pokemon. It just might be the Fortnite.
It just might be.
Huh?
It just might be, yeah.
Yeah. Like when you think about it, right? Basically what I want to see in the game, or my hopes for it, is that they give us our own character. We have our own battle hub. We have to think about how this game is somehow going to get funded because we're going to have to pay some type of money, and it's going to have to be either cosmetics or so like that. So we need to figure out like,
I did want to ask you guys that question, to be fair.
Yeah.
Whenever I wanted to see what you guys thoughts
Thanks for coming to stream.
As far as like how the game's going to be funded, because they say VP can't be quote unquote directly purchased, right? But could it be obtained through something like maybe you get a couple VP here and there through like the form of a battle pass, right? Or is anything, which hopefully everything monetary would be strictly cosmetic for our characters, maybe the background, like in Unite you can change your trainer icon, stuff like that. But how do y'all feel this would be monetized?
How I feel like it would be monetized is basically I really feel like they're going to give us a player hub, and I really feel like they're going to give us our own characters, whether it might not be 3D like I hope it's going to be, where you can have your own like little hub where you could just have people come through. For example, like a Street Fighter or a Tekken, where it's like, okay, like you have your own little like pictogram person character, and then you just go and you just talk to somebody, hey, you want to battle or so? If so, it's just like, yo, we're just gonna have a PNG and you could just pay for like outfits or something like that. Or you could re-roll characters like a gotcha. Oblivio, we'll pass it to you. What do you think? How will they?
Bring whatever gets monetized is exactly what you guys are talking about, which is something cosmetic, something inconsequential to the game, something that doesn't necessarily have to do with the game itself. So I don't want this to be a pay to win, right? Because that's where things go downhill. That's where things become annoying. Where like, oh, okay, just because you paid for this extra perk, now you're you have now that you have this extra perk, you've got, you know, like a better
Paywall.
Opportunity. Exactly. I don't want paywalls to exist in the game, better opportunities to exist just because you did this, you bought this certain medicine or something, and now you have an unfair advantage over everybody else in the game. That's silly. That makes no sense. But if we can, if we can find something to circumvent that, or like find something that can get us, like you guys said, the money. So if we can find really the only thing I can think of is something cosmetic like that, like a cosmetic thing or some kind of a plaque or medal or something that wouldn't necessarily really ruin the playability of the game. That's the only thing that I'm concerned about. As long as we get something like that, I'm perfectly fine with however the game turns out for that aspect. And as Noah was pointing out, in knowing me, I would be stupid enough to join OU and Ubers with something dumb and still win. So you'll probably see me do it.
What do you guys think about the Omni Ring? Like, I feel like a lot of people don't talk about it, about the function. Basically, the Omni Ring is basically every gimmick in the palm of your hand, right? We know that we're going to have Tyresalization, Dynamaxing, and Z moves. Do you, first, what do you think about it? One, and then two, do you think that we'll add more? Do you think Pokemon Company will add more gimmicks into that Omni Ring? Sarge, you go first.
Okay. Well, before we dive into that, I did have a question before, right? Because they made it very clear that you can't purchase it, right? It's not going to be a pay-to-win type thing. But they did announce that there's going to be a Pokemon Champions starter bundle for purchase when it's available. What do you guys think is going to be in that starter bundle? Like, first of all, why would we need a starter bundle? It's not going to be big.
Starter bundle might be something to where, like, we're just going to have to pay for, like, there's going to be some type of, like, pay-to-win aspect. And basically, it's going to be that. Like, you see Pokemon TCG Pocket, where you get a lot of gems and stuff like that, and then you get more cards. It could be that you know how there's in-game Pokemon in the game?
Yeah.
It might be like a gacha-esque element where it's like you pay for these, like, and then you get the Pokemon or so like that. It might roll. Because it's like when you think about it, nobody's asked the question of how we're going to get the Pokemon.
I wanted to touch that topic after
the
next question.
It might be gotcha. It really might be like where it's like you go into like, because like I said, there's going to be a mobile game element. And we already know like every mobile game that has a console thing, they're pretty much 1-1 and stuff. Like we're gonna see it. Will people be mad about it? Yeah, but like that's the reason why we have Pokemon Home. Go get Pokemon Home and just send your Pokemon in there. But Oblivia, what do you think?
I think, I'm so sorry, could you repeat the original question, just because we touched on a lot of things there, but the question that you asked before this, could you repeat that?
Yeah, you wanted me to touch on something, and I came back to the starter bundle.
Oh, sorry, yeah, starter bundle. Yeah, I think it's going to be, well, pretty much what you guys already touched on. Like, I hate having the feeling like I keep saying that or feeling behind, but you guys kind of already hit that point, which is like, it's just going to be something to start off with the game. I hope it's not something that gives like an unfair advantage or anything like that. I hope that it's something that is definitely like level set or something that it just gives maybe like nothing that's a competitive edge is what I'm hoping. goes on in there. But your question that you asked Sarge, did you want me to touch on that, or you want Sarge to go first on that stuff?
Okay, let's go to you. Basically, the question was, what do you think about the Omni Ring, and do you think we'll get more gimmicks?
Moondrop, thanks for coming to the stream. I appreciate you. We're having some discussion. So the Omni Ring, I think the Omni Ring is, for all intents and purposes, I think that the Omni Ring is cool. I like the idea of the Omni Ring. That's why I still once again heavily believe that this is the response to Pokemon Showdown, because you can use pretty much all of the gimmicks. Yeah, Dapper Gumi, you can go ahead and throw your opinion. We're just having discussion, so you can definitely let us know what you think. But I like the idea of the Omni Ring, but I have my own special opinion on it, basically, which is I would like it if I revisited what I was talking about before, which is the separation of if there's a mode where the Omni Ring is present and you can use every gimmick, go for it. But I would also love a mode where it's Megas only, or Terra only, or Dynamax only, because I promise you I will be terrorizing those Dynamax lobbies, because I adore that. I adore Dynamaxing and Gigantamaxing. For me, that's my favorite gimmick. I hate Megas. I think they're unbalanced and overpowered. Terra's okay, but I love Dynamaxing. It gives everybody a fair shot, and it is so badass. That's what I like. So yes, seclusion modes, exactly. If we can have the Omni Ring where we have all for one, go for it. You can have a battle where you bring your Primal Groudon, and then you bring your Mega Blaziken, and then you bring your Terrestrialized whatever, and then you bring your Dynamax whatever. Fuck it, have fun. You have fun with that mess. That's great. But if I can also have a mode where I can only do this, and I'm not met with everyone's Primal, Mega, Terra, and Dynamax, then that's fine. I'm okay with that.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think it circles back to I'm sorry. Go ahead, Jason.
No. Because I feel like you were gonna ask another question.
No, I was just gonna say it kind of circles back to the different game modes, right? I feel like if they're gonna do, we don't know what they're gonna do as far as different seasons, regulation. They might come out one where it's hey, Megas and Terrestrialized only, right? Or they might mix and match. But I think the feature of the Omni Ring having these gimmicks, right? And then we got Gen 10 coming up. Eventually they'll add whatever gimmick is in there. Right. But yeah, I think they're gonna add and keep it, fresh as far as I can tell. As far, keep, try not to make it so repetitive. But I think, to Oblivio's point, having modes where you can just kind of solo just one thing. If that's your thing, if Megas are your thing, go crazy, right? If Z moves are your thing, go crazy. Mm-hmm. But if you want to customize it and make custom matches where you can pin one against the other, and that's what you want to. I think that would be good. So I think the Omni Ring's fire. I think it's a good idea to bring in all the gimmicks that we've had, and keep. It's going to add an interesting competitive way to how you approach whatever the meta is going to be that season.
True.
Yeah, and the thing about Pokemon Champions or something like that is that I feel like it's gonna keep adding upon with more stuff. I hope that they incorporate other things like Shadow Pokemon. I think that would be a fun match.
That'd be fun.
They give you a set team, and you got one or two Pokemon that's a Shadow Pokemon, and you have to somehow deal with that situation. And I want to see other gimmicks in other games be used.
Absolutely.
So, I think that would be cool. I feel like it would make it fresh, where it's it's probably not the main OU, mm-hmm. but just something like that.
Can I piggyback off of that real quick?
Yeah, of course.
So that's actually a really interesting concept. I'm just going to read a couple of comments here real quick just to add on to what we were all talking about. So Dapper Gumi says, I think the Omni Ring is a cool in concept, but not in execution. I feel like instead of all of them being usable, make them into different sections. That's what we're talking about. That would be good. You're seeing Shadow Lugia again. Nice, Moondrop. Noah says, I'm going to say it. If there's no seclusion modes, Champions is going to be hot garbage. I can agree, but there are people that will enjoy it. So Shadow Wobbuffet would be nuts. But to piggyback off of Jason's point real quick, there's a lot of fun things that have been brought up over the years in Pokemon that I feel like they have really good opportunity, just like Jason said, to bring into champions. Like if they did Shadow Pokemon, if there was like a Shadow Cup or something like that, or like a tournament where you can only bring Shadow Pokemon, not only would it have inclusion of Pokemon Go, where you can bring Pokemon your Shadow Pokemon over Pokemon Go, but if they ended up, and I know we know that they're gonna do it since they showed it off, but with the Nintendo Switch Online, if they once they bring over the Gale of Darkness and Colosseum, if they make those compatible, you can also bring those Shadow Pokemon over, and it would just be fun because Shadow Pokemon are super effective against everything, and it would just kind of be fun to see. But another point to make about that, inverse battles were fun. They were slept on in Gen 6, but they were fun as hell. If they could bring in like an inverse battle cup or something like that, that would be hilarious to see like an Aggron go down to quick attack. Yeah, that's right. Rotation battles, triple battles. That would be fun to see them bring back. I think that would be really nice.
Before I ask my next question, Joshua, Pokemon Fire Red and Leaf Green is coming out after the direct. They said it is coming out right after the direct. If you go out,
I don't want to say that. I was reading your chat.
Yeah, no, like, because like Joshua keep asking it. I'm like, yeah, Joshua, I answered the question. It's coming out right after. Like, so literally, like, bro, all you have to do is
go to sleep, wake up, watch a direct.
Play.
There you go. That's all you gotta do.
Speaking of which, I'm gonna pick up Fire Red. I'm gonna pick up Fire Red right now.
Yeah, like I'm guaranteed what's gonna happen is they're gonna announce Fire Red. We're all gonna be like, skip it, and then at the end of it, oh, you can now play it. So now you're good. What is an inverse battle?
Oh no. Well, I'm just kidding. I'm not gonna be an asshole. Let me explain. So in Gen 6, there was something called inverse battles, right? And inverse battles were a lot of fun because what you could do with them is all of the type matchups get inversed, if that makes sense. So they get reversed. So basically what happens is that if if you have a water type, it's weak to fire instead of the other way around. If you have an electric type, it's super effective against ground instead of the other way around. So it was really funny where you could set up where like an Aggron that's like rock and steel is 4 times resistant to normal, but now it's 4 times weak to normal. So you can body an Aggron with like a quick attack, and it's just hilarious.
Okay. So basically, Sarge, I wanted to ask this, right? With everything that's happening on the direct tomorrow, right? What is something that you don't want to see in the direct? Like, you know it's gonna come, but like, what are things that like you're just like, bro, skip? Because Pokemon does this every year, and then we'll go to Oblivio and stuff. Like, there gotta be some things that like you just like, bro, like I don't care about this.
I don't care about any of the.
No, we're just talking about this.
It's only a game.
Okay, hold on.
Why do you have to be mad?
Hot take that's half a
because
joke. Give me
TCG
a Pokemon
Pocket
ring
does
to
fall
get me
under
a
mobile,
catching
right?
deck.
But I don't
Oh,
care
that'd
for
be nice.
anything Pokemon Sleep related, Masters related, Cafe Remix related. I know they're probably going to talk about Pokemon Concierge. I know a lot of people like it. I've yet to see it. Am I going to be stoked when I see another trailer for another season? Probably not. And then we're probably going to see something about that that thing that got announced last year, that Surfetched and Pichu movie and stuff like that. I'm not going to be over the moon for it, right? I'm just kind of like, yo, push that aside, get to the real stuff. Let me see, like, Pokemon Go. We already know we're going to have something for Pokemon Go, stuff like that. Let's just get to the nitty gritty. Let's get to the real stuff. They're probably going to spend hopefully no more than like 10 minutes on it and use the rest of the direct, because I think the direct's like 25 minutes tomorrow. So
yeah, it's funny. Noah just mentioned this earlier. He's like, it's probably going to be 90% filler and like 10% something good. But that's exactly the points that I was going to make. Like Pokemon Cafe remakes, all that, all that other stuff. TCG Pocket updates. I know that I know there's people in the community that love TCG and everything like that. But for people that are diehard, just the video game fans, we kind of just want to skip to the video game stuff. So That'd be
And
fun.
just to point out, with Pocket, I didn't mean to cut you, but just
Yep.
with Pocket, like I don't think they can really release anything else. They just dropped the new set yesterday,
That's
so
true.
Yeah,
True.
like wow.
it's like, come on.
That's true. But they are going to probably talk about the 30th anniversary merchandise for a while. They're going to talk about other celebrations that they're going to be doing for the 30th anniversary as well. I know they just dropped a new line of plushies that are like retro. They look like the Game Boy for the 30th anniversary, which is super cool. But that's only if you really want to go to like the Pokemon centers or order off their website and do stuff like that. And like, yeah, maybe for the 30th anniversary you want to get yourself something nice. That's nice, but we're more focused on like the actual games, really. Hot take that's half a joke, says Noah. Give me the Pokemon Ranger gimmick of catching Pokemon for Gen 10. Forget Pokeballs. That would be kind of cool. Blade may not be one, but I'll be one fake fan. Dabber Gumi, thank you for the redemption. And I want Forge Forms. It's a sick concept. Forge Forms. You mean like when they like cure them, like when they forge together? I'm not really following.
Yeah, and like the thing too about freaking Pokemon that I just don't want to see, bro. I don't want like Masters EX, yo. The game had so much potential,
Mm-hmm.
but then, like, yo, the moment that they said you can't battle online, that's how I felt. Like the people how they're mad about Fire Red and Leaf Green. That's how I feel about Pokemon Masters EX. Where I'm just like, bro, I really don't care. Another thing too is like, yo, the TV shows, bro. You could just put commercials or just make another presents where you call it animation presents or something like that. Like, there's certain things that like, yo, that doesn't need to be shown. Like, what I was gonna ask you guys, or I'm just gonna say is like, yo, something that I do want to see is how they're gonna go about Pokemon XD and Coliseum, because in my opinion, those are my most anticipated games. The reason why I bought a freaking Switch 2 GameCube controller wasn't to play GameCube NSO because I could just do it on my controller. It was for those two games specifically, because those two games are like childhood my favorites.
Absolutely.
Or something like that. I love those games, even though like I remember playing it, but like I was a kid and stuff like that, so I want to like relive it and stuff. And like speaking about Pokemon XD Gale of Darkness and all that stuff, right? For the GameCube NSO, what do you guys think they're gonna do? Because we got surprised with Fire Red and Leaf Green. Do you think that we can get NSO GameCube compatibility with Pokemon Home? One thing that like I feel like is like I don't know if they can send it, because when you think about Pokemon XE Gale of Darkness and Coliseum, they don't have that many Pokemon. So like if you take, I mean, maybe XD Gale of Darkness, because you can always go to that like little place to always catch Pokemon. But like I don't know if Coliseum you can take those Pokemon and go. But another thing, and this is my final point, and then I could just leave it off the Sarge and then Oblivion you got answer after, is I hope that they keep the shinies. Like the shinies that's in that game that look unique. I hope that like Pokemon Company would just be like, all right, you have unique shinies that you could bring over and they look like this or so. Another thing too, before I leave it off the Sarge, just so like that about Pokemon XD and Coliseum, I hope that like, there's some way that we could just transfer between if you can't transfer like the Pokemon like between like Fire Red or so like that, at least make it Gen 3 where it's like those games can connect to each other, and then like you could put it up to other games or so.
Thank you, Fire.
Give it something like unique.
Something, yeah.
If not so close. Sarge, what do you think about XE Gale of Darkness or Coliseum? What do you want to see, or what do you hope Nintendo doesn't do to screw over the fans?
I want to be honest. When you said Pokemon X, I thought you were going to say Pokemon XP, because that was something we hadn't heard anything about, that new event that they're probably going to do. But yeah, we haven't heard anything since they teased it in the list of games that scrolled over for NSO, right? So I'm hoping they give us some news. We've gotten a lot of GameCube games that came through, and unfortunately, neither one of them was on there. I'm ready, because honestly, I never got to play them back in the day. So this would be a big opportunity for me to go back and relive a piece of, Pokemon history that I've heard a lot of good things about.
Nice.
So I'm hoping that, they do make it available tomorrow, this month, at least. Something. Give us an update as to when those games are coming. As far as anything that they could do to kind of upset the fans, I mean, show it and then just say it's going to be available later this year. I don't know. I don't know. My thing was with Fire Red and Leaf Green, right?
Yeah.
From what I understood was the reason they did a standalone version was for the home capability because it needed its own standalone save file. Unlike, we're on NSO, we can it's pretty much like when we emulate it, right?
Yeah.
So I don't know if there is a way for them to make home compatibility work with anything on the NSO. If they did, it probably would have either been better to just put Fire Red and Leaf Green on there. Or I thought they were probably going to do maybe Red and Blue on the NSO and just give us the Fire. I don't know. It's kind of weird. It's just, I don't even think we were supposed to know about Fire Red and Leaf Green, to be honest.
I'm still trying to ask that question.
Because from what I heard was that somebody posted it early on the shop and somebody got a screenshot of it.
Yep.
And then Pokemon was like, well, let's just put it out there. So I'm hoping they filled in that slot if they were going to use it for Pokemon Day with some good news and say, hey, by the way, Gale of Darkness and, Coliseum are going to be available. But again, it's a piece of history that I missed out on. So I'm really looking forward to those two games. And yeah, that's it. That's it for those two.
Oblivio, what are you looking forward to, and what do you hope Nintendo doesn't do for both of those ports?
So I'm looking forward to those games as well. Here's the thing though, and I'm sorry to have to say this to everybody else who doesn't have the same fortune that I do. I kept those games from my childhood. If there's something that I did hold on to growing up, it was my Pokemon games. Never ever did I ever let my Pokemon games go, and I have lost a butt ton of things throughout my entire life. But in this box right here to my right is every single one of my Pokemon games, and Coliseum and the Gale of Darkness are in there. So I do have the privilege of being able to transfer Pokemon from those generations up to the present generation, experiencing those games on their own and all that other good stuff. So it doesn't directly affect me. However, if they did put it on the NSO and they did find a way, as Noah mentioned, to disable the save state just like they did for what they did on the 3DS, which was for gold, silver, crystal, red, and blue and everything, that would be a double-edged sword. Like, that would be fire, because then you would be able to get compatibility to home. But then it would be a backhand. It would be kind of bullshit because they should have just done that with Fire Red and Leaf Green. Like, they should have just done the same thing. Like, we're already paying $80 a year for the online stuff, for the NSO, and so it would just make sense to do it now as opposed to wait and do it later. But pretty much what Sarge was saying, I think if they do add it to the NSO, you can pretty much just assume that they're not gonna have home compatibility, and it will just be the experience, which in Sarge's case and in the case of many people like Sarge who didn't get to experience these GameCube games growing up, that's fantastic. Experiencing that to just stand alone is beautiful. It's a fantastic experience. It is so much fun. Like, if I could go back and play I specifically remember my memories of when I played this game for the first time, and I felt like a rock star, because not only was I like not only have I always been like the rockstar Pokemon child in my family, but because I was like I wasn't the oldest, but because I was older than my younger siblings were along with the ride for me when I played through Coliseum and the Gale of Darkness. And I remember that final battle against Evice and like having Eevee and Espeon still on the team rocking hard, and they were just bodying. It was close, but we did it. And it felt great. So it is a good experience standalone. I think it's one of the best, if not some of the best Pokemon games ever. But sad to say, if it is on the NSO, we probably won't get that compatibility that we're looking for, which is rough. Let me just catch up real quick here. Forge Forms is a concept where certain Pokemon basically turns into a monster hunter weapon, and the spirit of the Pokemon fuses with the trainer. I guess it's a cool concept, kind of, but they would have to go in an entirely different direction to make that happen. You know what I mean? And Believe Banana asks how long stream will be. Stream, You get to meet the boy Mirror. You literally get to meet me. That's me. I am Mirror B is me. I love Mirror B. He's the best. But how much longer will stream go? I'm gonna give it. The conversation's good right now. I'll probably be on for a little while longer, but I do have work in the morning, so I got to be conscious of that. I'm probably gonna have to head off to bed soon.
Yeah, no worries. And like basically, just like you said, like Sarge, all I gotta say is when you have to, what is it, like 100 battles up the freaking
Battle Mountain, baby.
like,
Yeah. It's so peak. It's so peak.
1,000 battles in Legends EA. I'm ready.
Let's go.
Like, at that point, it's like, yo, bro, you about to do, because like the thing is that like the game is so different because like it has like physical and special. They're pretty much like fire red, elite green. I think pretty much they're like the same.
Yeah, there wasn't
like,
differentiation. It was only it was
like,
type
it's
dependent.
like that's what you have to learn. It's a different game than like Scarlet and Violet, and it's double battles, and like I feel like when it comes to Pokemon Coliseum, you're gonna be like, bro, why didn't Genius Sonority take over like 3D? Like they're still making games, and they're like making cafe mix. Like why? I'm guaranteed the people who made it left, but like because Battle Revolution is like the last game that they made. But think about it. If you go back, there's a lot of videos online where they're like Pokemon Battle Revolution looks way better than modern Pokemon. But then after that, you can see that Game Freak, they can hire talent to make games that look like AAA games. Do you feel like that's a slap to your face as like a fan, knowing that like Game Freak, they always make their own game or so like that, but like this game is different. This game looks like Monster Hunter had a baby with like Devil May Cry or some shit, right? Do you feel like as a fan, like, yo, how come they just were never able to make a game look like this? Like, granted, it was the Switch era and it's not that strong, but how do you feel about that? I'll start off with Sarge. Okay, wait, I know Sarge. Sarge, how do you feel about that? Like, basically, Pokemon Company, they made that game. I forgot what it's called, but it looked really good.
Beast of Incarnate.
The Beast of Yep.
Yeah. Look, man. I'll say this, right? When it came to like Pokemon, or this is probably like a really crappy thing to say, but I never really held Nintendo to a high standard of like AAA title, Elden Ring kind of level games, right? So when it came down to like certain titles, Mario, Pokemon, right, stuff like that, Legend of Zelda, there was always like a constant theme with how their games looked. I'm not gonna lie to you, man. When I saw that Game Freak was working on something new, and then I saw that teaser for the first time, my jaw dropped, and I said, "Bro, like, a buddy of mine, he plays Monster Hunter, right? He plays different Monster Hunters. He's like, this game is dope, and I've seen it, and I'm like, man, that would be kind of fire if they were just to go off the wall and kind of go that route." Then I see Game Freak come out with this new trailer, and I'm like, oh. Right, so it kind of begged the question. A lot of people ask that question: is the Pokemon Company really just holding Game Freak back, or is it the Pokemon Company saying we don't want to veer too far off, the path of what we know and what's comfortable for people? But I think it's important, and I think now with Champions coming out, they won't have to worry so much about both the mainline story and the competitiveness of each new Pokemon, that they'll be able to kind of just fully develop the world. And maybe, hopefully one day, and maybe it's with Gen 10, I don't know, maybe Gen 11, we get to see something, maybe not that detailed that Game Freak came up with, but maybe along the lines of a proper open world. But honestly, I felt some type of way, man, with Beast of Incarnation. I really did. I felt some type of way about it.
I have a couple things to say about that, yeah. Give us Daddy Want to Murder the World People again. Yeah. So this is what I have to say, right? And I can see both sides of the argument, which is what's difficult about having this conversation, but I think it definitely needs to be had. So the Beast of Incarnation is a sign of a couple of things, and I actually want to pose this question to you guys, the viewers, and back to you guys as well. I want to ask a simple question just to keep in mind while I go through this spiel. Do you guys think that we're just being old heads? Does it get to a certain point where we're just being old heads, where we're like holding on to the fantasy of Pokemon, but we have to realize that it's the 30th anniversary. A lot of its fans are over 30 or pushing 30, and it is, for all intents and purposes, a child's game, right? So is it that we're too stuck in the nostalgia to really move forward with what they're doing in the future and accepting new ideas? But along that same vein, if we're able to explore new ideas such as the Beast of Incarnation, and piggybacking off of what Jason said with Genius Sorority should have really taken over the 3D games and really should have pushed those forward, is it that the Pokemon Company really is holding us back? Like, is it that because they're so desperate to hold on to this IP, they're just ruining it for everybody? Like, they won't explore different ideas because they can for sure certainly have their mainline child, oriented game, whatever, has a couple spin-offs that are like that too. But why can't they explore something with like Genius Sonority and Game Freak and make like an adult, maybe appeal to a more adult audience, right? I feel like they were headed in the right direction with the Gale of Darkness and Coliseum. It deals with much darker tones than any other Pokemon game. Your character is also much older than any other Pokemon hero or heroine. You're dealing with a lot of different aspects in those games that like really aren't for a child's game. And that's why we love them, because amongst all the Pokemon games, they're the grittiest. They're definitely the grittiest. They're really cool. You're a criminal in that game. One of those games, you're literally, the main character is a criminal or an ex-criminal, however you want to look at it. But vigilante, yeah. And it's a really cool concept to explore, but I feel like they threw it out there and then they like reeled it back, and I don't know why, because it's literally one of the best received Pokemon games ever, like in the whole franchise. It was just the right time, the right amount of grittiness for everything. So I feel like if they could explore a different path with Pokemon, that would be great. But I also see the flip side, which is like, maybe this is just going to continue to be a child's game, and we kind of have to accept that fact.
Before I let Sarge answer that, let me just say this, right? I feel like if you look at the demographics of who or the age that plays Pokemon,
it's us.
It's people in their 30s. Like, basically, like if you just look into it, it's like everybody that played Pokemon pretty much either grew up with the game or we're pretty much around the same age, right? I feel like Pokemon Company is like WWE, where like it could have, like, they had the Attitude Era or so like that, because they had slot machines and all that stuff. Yeah, we was playing slot machines.
Absolutely.
Trying to get a Dratini or a shiny Abra or so like that. Like,
it's coming back. It's in Fire Red.
Yeah. But
so we're going to get a new generation addicted to gambling.
But the thing is that I feel like Pokemon Company or Game Freak, I think that like they need to like think about that, because it's like, okay, like there is a generation, but let's make, and I feel like Legend ZA, even though like a lot of people have a lot of gripes with Legend ZA, they took one step forward because the story was a lot more mature. When you think about it, because for example, the character was a little bit older than the main protagonist in every, except, XD Gale of Darkness, Coliseum. Another thing too was that like they covered death, which like they have covered in, a couple Pokemon games, but it's like
not as blatant.
I don't think we ever seen somebody die or so. And like
in a funeral.
I felt a little bit sad at the end of the game, I'm not gonna lie, for both L and the other character. I'm not gonna spoil it just in case nobody never played it.
Oh, okay.
But I feel like I feel like Game Freak, they don't want to do it no more. it's like when you think about it, it's like being in a relationship and you try to do everything for your girlfriend and she just never happy. And I feel like Game Freak kind of feels like that way with us. However, they feel constricted because when you think about it, there's budgets. How much does a Monster Hunter cost? Right? How much do these big budgets and let's just say, right? Pokemon, I come to Pokemon, I want to start a new generation or I want to start a new game, right? They're like, I'm going to give you this amount of money, but you have to pay
Give me
people,
1 second,
you have
Chad.
to
Give me a
pay for
moment.
the engine, you have to do all that. Do what Call of Duty does, right? Where there's like 3 different companies that's making a game.
Yeah.
Like the same game. There's Call of Duty, Warzone.
There's the Black Ops and the Modern Warfare.
Yeah, so it's like I don't see why Nintendo and Pokemon Company just don't invest like they have with Pokemon Works and Ilka.
Mm-hmm.
But bro, get Bandai, get like actual people who can put the work in.
Yep.
Sorry,
let's leave Bandai over there on their own.
Yeah.
I dealt with Bandai last year, and I was just like, oh gosh. But shout out to Bandai for putting me on their creator list, but I never took it. I was like, I don't know if I can do it, bro. But I think to touch your point, they kind of tried that route, right? With Ilka, and then later it was Ilka that came out with BDSP.
Yeah, it was.
Right, and then they patented the name Pokemon Works, and then it became its own thing. And then didn't they just combine Ilka and Works? Or am I?
No, I think Ilka. I'm pretty sure Ilka is still just Ilka. But the thing too, to answer that too, basically, the original person, you know, the person who made like Gen 3 and Gen 4, Gen 5, the director.
Yeah.
Basically, I guess he took over and he didn't really do anything that much with the game. Like he kept it 1-to-1. I think that's the story. Is like he was directing it and like he just made it 1-to-1.
So I kind of wanted to touch based on what you were saying, right? Like trying new things, and I think that's what the Legends series is.
Mm-hmm.
Because I felt like when Legends Arceus came out, it was kind of like whoa, like it kind of felt, and it's kind of weird to say, right? Because you know they're all kids games in the end of the day, but it felt like Legends Arceus was kind of tailored more to us, you know, the older audience.
Absolutely. I feel the same way.
And then, you know, because you had, you know, the fierceness of wild Pokemon, and, you know, and it was just like, it was crazy. The new battle mechanics, not battle mechanics, the new movement, just the way you interacted with that game, it was great. Then Legends ZA came out, and it's like, okay, now we have another Legends title. It's not in the past, but let's see what they're doing. What they do, bring a whole new battle mechanic. So I'm not opposed to Pokemon using the Legends titles as a way to kind of experiment and try new things, because you never know. We could potentially get another Legends title that looks maybe a little bit more, not exactly like the Beast of Incarnate, right? But maybe more that style, that route eventually down the line. I don't see it being the next title. maybe to be the next Legends titles, you know, maybe 2 or 3 Legends from now. But if they do go that route, I think Legends is the perfect place to kind of experiment and try new things and see how the fans interact with it and engage with it. But I'm not opposed to them getting another company either. You know, maybe they come up with another sub Pokemon genre where they can kind of, you know, go crazy and test some things out that are more tailored to the 30-year-old audience, right?
Yeah.
I'm not opposed to it, but, you know, I feel like, you know, as long as they try to explore and try new things with Legends, I'm down for it.
Yeah, because like I feel like, you know, when they cut teams to like have like certain teams be able to make a game or so like that, it hasn't worked. Personal, like I feel like, for example, like Xenoblade Chronicles, how they have like a whole gigantic group of people to make the game, and there's always. I mean, I hate Xenoblade Chronicles 2. Like, I think that the game was probably one of the worst Xenoblade Chronicles games. But when it comes to like Pokemon, I feel like, bro, like they should just have one big team, stop splitting people, stop cutting people, let everybody make the game so that like it works the first time and not wait, you know, 5 years for another console to come out. But before I segue to my next one, let me just like say 2 things. We'll like read 2 chats real quickly. I think it's pretty obvious as why they ain't gonna do that, because money, and they don't want to pay more people, and on licensing issues. I feel.
True.
But the thing is that like I remember watching a video, bro. I don't know if you guys ever seen it, but it's like how much they went through. I think Glassdoor. I don't know if you guys know what Glassdoor is, where it's like it says like how much a company pays people or so like that. But if you ever come across that video, it's on YouTube or so like that, where it's like how much do Pokemon like it's like a review, like how well received you know working there is, and basically that video will tell you a lot or so. Another thing too is like I just want to save Japanese work culture is not good. I think he says I just want to say Japanese work culture is not that good. Sometimes you have to hire someone to quit your job. I feel like Pokemon Company might be paying people like $100K or so like that because they somebody getting paid good over there. I'm not gonna cap. Because, but you know, going back to like what we were talking about and stuff, I think that like making a more like adult game, because it's like Pokemon, they probably have seen their demographics. Like, yeah, there's kids that play the game, but everybody 30, bro. Like, bro, you gotta do something, man. Everybody old and stuff. And speaking about that, we have Pokemon games that's already on the Switch One. Do you think on Pokemon Day that they are going to announce Switch 2 ports of Gen 8, BDSP, Legends, Let's Go Pikachu and Eevee? Do you think we'll see that on Pokemon Day tomorrow?
I don't think so.
Like Scarlet and Violet, they received it, and the game runs pretty well. However, if you play Pokemon Sword and Shield or Pokemon Legends Arceus, they don't feel right on the Switch 2. You think we'll see it, Sarge?
I think we might see it down the line, but I don't think we'll see it for Pokemon Day, you know, because one of the things that I had predicted too was like maybe Pokemon Unite getting a Switch 2 update, right? So it can run better, because we all know if anybody plays Unite.
Yeah, I'm with
you.
you. I see what you got it.
But even now on the Switch 2, it's a little bit more better. I'm not saying to say it's perfect, but yeah, I think it would be something that needs an actual Switch 2 update. But I can see them doing it. I just don't see them doing it for like Pokemon Day. It's kind of hard to say. Maybe if any of them. Maybe Legends Arceus.
Legends Arceus, you think?
Yeah.
I would hope that. I love Legends Arceus. Of all the Switch games,
yeah.
I feel like that's my favorite of the Pokemon Switch games.
Yeah, 100%.
Story, gameplay, everything. It's nice. But I'm with Sarge on the fact that I doubt they'll do it tomorrow. I don't think that they would. If they did it at some point in the future, maybe. Even then, that's a big maybe. But I don't think that they do it tomorrow.
If they don't do it tomorrow, they're not doing it. Like, that's how I feel about it. Like, if they don't announce
That's true.
something like that tomorrow, we're not at all. We're just gonna be depressed. I don't know if you got.
I hope, just like what Sarge said, I wish they would fix Unite because I actually genuinely enjoyed Unite, but playing that game feels so rough whenever you try to play it on the Switch, and it's like if they would just patch that up a little bit, I feel like the game would be so much more enjoyable.
Do you think that it will do better than what's the game that everybody plays, all the baddies and stuff like that? That like it's based off the same genre. Well, you guys know what I'm talking about, right? All the girls be wearing the hat. It's the green hat.
You're talking about I can't think of the name right now. You're talking about
what's it called? It's like not Clash of Clans. But I was thinking like
League of Legends. Thank you. No,
League
thank
of
you.
Legends.
Yep.
Yeah. Do you think it's gonna be League of Legends level if they fix it? They already have a lot of characters.
I wouldn't say League of Legends level because that's the original formula for it, and this is just like Pokemon slapped on like a League of Legends kind of formula. So I doubt to that level, but would it maybe spark a little bit more life into the game? Maybe. I can see that.
Yeah, and it's just like it's like what Dragon Ball did too, right? They came out with their own Genki Squadron, right? It's the same concept, just with Dragon Ball characters, and that's doing pretty well too. But I don't see it going to League of Legends, status, because that's like the one, the king of the throne, right? But I think Pokemon Unite, if it did get a patch, would be definitely a lot more enjoyable because I truly like playing Unite.
Mm-hmm.
But kind of like Oblivio said, it's just man, I want to go through and collect all my stuff, but just having to go through the menu and wait 10 seconds for it to switch what it's doing is just insane. It's rough, man.
Did you see the other version of Pokemon Unite? I think it's a Chinese version.
Chinese version?
Yeah.
How they have so many more features.
I'm
Do you
waiting for
think
that to be announced for us.
report that we might see that implemented into our Pokemon Unite?
All I can have is my fingers crossed, my friend. I don't know.
Right.
But there's some things that China or Japan, kept to themselves that never really got imported to us, right? So
History events.
I'm hoping that that doesn't happen, but it would be cool. I would like to see it.
Yeah.
I like to
because when I saw that, I was like, damn, like why their version like and that's like what I kind of hope that Pokemon Champions does, where it's like, yo, give us a place where we could walk around, a little hub, because if we have a nice little hub that we could walk around and we can like be able to like see people, I feel like people be more into like buying the swag and stuff like that.
Absolutely, yeah.
Like it'd be one way to monetize. I feel like maybe gotcha characters and stuff like that, like maybe they could do something like that too. But when it comes to like, Gen 10, let's get into that. Let's talk about that. Sarge, actually, I said I think I asked Sarge first last time, right? Oblivio.
Mm-hmm.
What fire, water, and grass? What do you think we're gonna get in terms of animals? Sarge, you're next.
So I'm gonna just break down how this thing goes for
Or what do you want to see?
For me when it comes to new generations. I don't like to spoil the new generations for myself as much as I can. I stay away from the leaks, I stay away from the internet as much as I can. I know there's a point where it's just in my face at that point. Like I can't even do anything. Like sometimes I'll just try to open up Instagram to get rid of a notification and then boom, it's there. And you're like, all right, well fuck. But I remembered seeing somebody post something about a leak, and then I immediately scrolled away because I wasn't even going to try to ruin it for me. However, if I wanted to see something for the starters for Gen 10, I would say following suit here for the fire starters, we haven't seen an ox yet. So it'd be cool to see like an ox type fire starter, something like a little bull or something, and then it grows into like a bigger bull. I think they could really get a good concept from that, especially with it being a fire type. Water types, we haven't seen. I feel like we haven't seen something serpentine for water types in a while. You know what I mean? Like, it'd be nice. I don't care which type it is. I want a capybara. Capybaras would be cool. I don't. That would be if we get the regional normal type. As long as it's a capybara, I'd be happy with that too. I love capybaras.
Oh, I would jump into my camera if I saw that.
if it's like Beedle by Barrel, I'm cool with it being a capybara. I'm fine with that. But grass type, which, funnily enough, I've only picked fire types twice. Once with Charmander, once with Skeledirge, with Fuecoco. Other than that, I'm always grass water. But with the grass type, I feel like we haven't seen. Let's see, they've done a lot of shit for grass types actually. So, I mean, shit, maybe a capybara grass type would be fire. Who knows? But let me just send that back to y'all. What do you guys want to see for the starters?
For me, Sarge JasonHendrixs. Sarge JasonHendrixs.
I don't know if I have a preference, man, because
Chill, mom.
I want it to be a surprise, you know. Like,
Yeah, me too.
I've seen things that are like, oh well, it's based in this region, and you know these are the animals that are mostly based in that region. I'm like, well, there's a lot of things that could be based on, right? We got underwater life, we got life that's just
Bestie.
If you wanted to,
We're with JasonHendrixs, and thank you for that shout out. We're with JasonHendrixs and we're with Sarge. We're doing discussion right now. Throw in whatever opinions you want right now. Currently, we're discussing what are the 3 starters that you want to see in Gen 10. Like, what kind of Pokemon do you want the new starters to be for Gen 10?
A bat. So I don't even know what I would want. I don't think it's more so of like what I want to see as far as a Pokemon starter. I just kind of want to know. No, man, I really don't have any hopes for this. Not the hopes for the starters, but like, I don't have like an expectation of what I want to see. I just kind of want to see them and be like, dang, that's our next generation of starters, you know?
Yep.
Because I'm just so used to what we have now, and you know, we've gotten, you know, I mean, I'm thinking about all the starters. I'm like, how many more animals can we make in the starters that they're gonna have, you know, 2 evolutions?
There's so many animals, like
yeah, there is, right? But it's like
extinct animals at this point.
Yeah,
there's so many. I mean, like, at least for me, I want to see like I don't care what animal, because usually like the starters, you know, they're usually hit or miss. I just hope the typings are very unique. Like, I want to see like a water electric starter, like a fire ground, you know, something that like that's different. Basically, for me, I hope for Gen 10 to like Gen 20 or so like that, or Gen 19, they switch up the formula. Like, I want to see like a ghost type starter, a psychic type starter, a bug type starter. You know what I mean? Like, I want to see. Yeah, like I want for like this, like for these next 10 generations, for us to have like 3 different types or so like that, like where it could be electric type, ground or so like that, or at least maybe for like every other game, we get like a different starter, like, because yes, I do like starting with fire, grass, and water, but I feel like it's, you know, with it being 10, we need something new. Like, bro, it's been 30 years and stuff. Like, even though it's work, let's make it work a little bit different. Like, you know, with Legends games, they do give us like the same ones with different forms, but like, let's up it up the notch.
Yep. Imagine we get a Psychic, Fairy, and Dark Pokemon starter that says card bait.
Yeah. Like, that would be crazy.
That'd be dope. That would be hella dope.
That'd be fine. Some people in my chat, they said that they want a serpent, a turtle, a crab. You know, they want a giraffe, a cow, and an elephant. You see, Sarge.
Yeah, I got a few too. I got a capybara being a water type. I got a fire squirrel, a water cat, a grass gator, water lion, a fire bear.
Like, Sarge, do you understand how much money they could make with a capybara starter?
That would be so funny.
Yeah, that's why I said a capybara would be insane.
Bro,
That'd be so
or a
funny.
hippo starter. Yo, if they had a hippo starter, like Mudang, bro,
Yeah.
bro. We have a Mudang starter because,
so
like,
funny.
wasn't that... I feel like we might see, like, a hippo, another hippo in this generation.
Absolutely. Two things I really wish we could see, though, because we have a button, and this is two things that they've done in the past before, so I'm hoping that they branch off a little bit, because this is definitely within, like, the Pokemon formula. Like, they would do something like this, so I'm hoping they see it. I want to see a variation of the pseudo starters. So, like in Gen 5, they had the Elemental Monkey Trio. Love those guys to death. So, Pansage, Panseer, Panpour, Simsage, Simseer, Simpour. They're perfect. I love those three. Maybe they can do something different in this region, where it's like another trio of like false starters, but it's the same thing. It's like maybe not monkeys, maybe it's like a trio of, I don't know, bats or something cool. And it would be nice to finally see a gorilla Pokemon, right? Like, I don't know, maybe it'd be nice because we have an orangutan Pokemon. We have a good bunch of monkey Pokemon, but I don't really remember seeing a gorilla Pokemon per se.
Yeah.
So that'd be nice.
Like, yeah, man, I would definitely be nice, man. Like, for real. Like, Sarge, how do you feel about, like, trading cards and stuff like that? Like, do you support, like, the TCG community, or do you, like, collect cards and stuff like that? Like, how do you feel about, you know, Pokemon Company and, like, how people can, you know, they can pretty much make a living off of this?
They can, dude. That's why I'm at Costco at 6 a.m. punching little kids in the face to get these cards.
Don't say that on YouTube. You gonna be hits.
No, honestly, man, I think with the TCG, in Minecraft, yeah, exactly. No, I think the TCG, it holds a special place for me, right? Because, man, I remember being a kid and having all those cards in my binder, you know, trading with my friends, you know, this and this. So I'm always down to, like, collect. And, you know, I have a personal collection that I just started collecting in, like, maybe last year or the year before. But nothing crazy. Because it's so expensive now. And the whole scalper market, if you will, it's just like, it is insane, man. I bought the 30th anniversary pack that has 3 packs of cards, 30th anniversary promotional Pikachu and a coin. I bought 2 of them at Target online. They were $17. Flip it to today, $50. Dude, what is going, like, you know what I'm saying? Like, and it's so hard because you get into these queues at the Pokemon Center and you're like waiting in there for like, dude, I can't do this. You know, like, I can't wait 4 hours in line on a website just to hopefully get something, check out, and then there's an error and now I'm kicked to the back of the line. It's horrible right now, man. But I love the TCG. I love collecting it. I haven't played it personally. I would like to learn how to play it, but I got a love-hate relationship right now with the current state of TCG.
Yeah, like, a lot of people say they got back. Like, Gyarados said, I got back into playing TCG last year. It's been a lot of fun. And, like, TCG could be for everybody. And, like, Oblivio, you just showed us a really nice card and stuff like that with my favorite Pokemon named Dashkabun and stuff like that. That card is...
This is a gift from Cardbait, who's actually in the chat right now. That's why I was showing it off. She says that she is a TCG collector, but she doesn't like the community right now. Pretty much what Sarge was explaining. That's why she's kind of disillusioned with the community. And everybody's just kind of going back and forth. Blid, you know how much I got for my cards? How much did you get? Remember in your Discord, you graded cards you got from PSA? You got, yeah, she got some really nice graded PSA cards. She said she got big money. And not to put anybody's business out there, but somebody just bought a brand new home. So I'm going to say there was some really big money that came from these cards.
Yeah.
Congratulations, though, Card Bay. We love you. That's fantastic. But yeah.
Pokemon cards do that?
But
Damn.
but Card Bay gave this Dachshund to me as a gift, amongst a slew of other things. So yeah, they are fun. For me, they're just fun to collect. They're just fun to collect is all, and for me, that's all it is really. I'm not big into like sitting here and stockpiling and flipping and doing all that. The ones that I think look cool, I'm just like I'm gonna hold on to this one. It looks pretty dang cool.
Yeah.
So I have
I feel like it's very nerve wracking because, like, yo, just imagine, like, you see how, like, Sarge, he has, like, that player box set and stuff like that. Like, yo, what if, like, he opens that one day? He's like, bro, I'm finna sell these. And, like, he just gets all of the worst cards. Like, that's, like, my biggest fear is, like, yo, bro, I just bought this.
Noah, that's
and,
messed
like, yo,
up.
I bought the worst one.
That's
Or,
crazy.
like, yo, you
Noah.
deal with a Logan Paul situation where it's like, yo, you put a little bit of money in there and then he just takes it right under your skin. Or so, because like there's like so many different aspects of like the card community where it's like, bro, you could make a lot of money, but it's like you're gonna have to fight a grown man at a freaking kiosk because there's no need for that when I could just play the games and I ain't gotta worry about that. But what makes no sense to me is that like the games have no value. The cards though, it got money tied to it. Like, bro, why can't like the Pokemon I catch have value? I'm guaranteed if I caught Pokemon from Exegil of Darkness and I try to sell it, it's like, oh, these Pokemon have unique marks that you're not gonna get. But who knows if it has home compatibility? You know what I mean?
I wouldn't say all that. I wouldn't say all that because that's the whole reason that, well, for starters, flipping Pokemon games. Sorry, my dog wants to go out. Flipping Pokemon games is rough. That's why, you know, like we're talking about getting Fire Red Leaf Green for $20 on the Switch today versus trying to get your own copy right now. You're gonna pay $200. That's an insane markup because when the game first dropped, it was what, $30 at retail or something like that. That's crazy. That is an insane markup. But not only that, but the shiny hunting community and the shiny hunting, I call it pretty much like a pandemic because it's pretty janky. Where that's where I have my whole grip with the bots and everything because people will genuinely try to sit here and sell those things and they'll sell the ones that the bots make and everything, and it's gross. Like, why would you do that to a kid
I wanna ask you
who just wants to have this experience?
Yeah. How do y'all feel about like, because I thought about I wanted to do a video, right? Because I was scrolling on TikTok a while back and I'm seeing people going on TikTok live, you know, put their phones facing the TV and they got like boxes of shiny Pokemon. They're like, all right, man, make sure y'all follow, make sure y'all this and this and get a shiny. Like they're out here like bargaining to give shiny Pokemon away to people. And I'm like,
Yep.
I don't know, that just, and I guess that's to your point, but that kind of like bothered me. You know what I'm saying? Like this isn't
or like
entertainment. This is how you get your following. Like this is trash. Like,
yeah, and the thing too is that like, you know how like you go on YouTube and it's in the reels where it's like you know like you're like, oh, I want to shiny at this Pokemon, and then they're giving people legendaries from like or mystery gifts from like years ago, and I'm like, bro, those are fake mine. Like, there's nothing that you could tell me or so like that, unless like you got it from the game and you could verify it or so like that. Like for like, you know, for example, like there's something to where you can get a shiny Ditto in Pokemon Yellow, and you could bring it into Pokemon, you know, Gold, Silver, Crystal. You know what I mean? Like something that like you could like verifiably like. Because there are like, you know, certain glitches or so like that could work, but like you're talking about mystery gifts that came out years ago. How are you getting that? First and foremost, that's the first question. And secondly, I do see that there's a problem with it because it's like, you know, you missed out on it, or like, you know, there's a lot of kids where it's like, yo, you're gonna tell like these kids are gonna want to go into the Discord, and now it's like, yo, it's like cheating in a way. Like, it's just not right.
I mean, how many times have you got into a Pokemon match and then they send out a freaking a legendary that has a website as a name. You know what I'm saying? Like,
Yep.
Yeah, like when I was doing like viewer battles on stream and stuff like that, all I see is this website name or so. Like bots are ridiculous, and like I don't know if there's something that it could be stopped. But when it comes to like these bots and stuff like that, like and how these streamers are just like literally being like, oh, all you got to do is go into my Discord, or you just have to put in this code 444000. But if you pay for the Discord, you get the higher tier one where you automatically get one. Like, nah, bro.
It's gross. It's gross, and that's pretty much what I'm talking about. Is that. And it's so blatant that it gets to the point where there are Instagram, I think I've seen them on Facebook, but like for sure Instagram ads, where they will literally, these websites will be like, if you just pay like $5.99 or some bullshit like that, they give you like a whole box or like boxes full of legendaries. And that's just, it's gross. It's like, what do you mean you're just selling shit? You're just taking like little Timmy's mom's credit card and like having him run it for these box full of legendaries that are all fake. And one, it defeats the purpose of the shiny. And two, it defeats the, it's just gross. I feel like it's gross because it targets children in a way. First of all, you're targeting children, that's gross in and of itself. But it targets children in a way where, like, it makes them vulnerable to, like, all these kinds of, like, you don't know who's selling this shit or what unfortunate thing could be happening behind the scenes with that. And that's just, I don't like it. It's all around. I'm like, just... don't do all that. Shiny hunt your own shinies. I promise you, it's way more rewarding.
Yeah, dude. I just want to say something. Yo, Boat Boy. Yo, welcome in, Boat Boy. Hopefully you're having a great day. He asked me, why is my turtle naked? And then I looked at the turtle and I realized, yo, this Squirtle is really naked on the screen. It's like I have a turtle with no shell.
Oh.
That's not funny.
Yo, this turtle has no shell.
I just saw that. That is crazy.
He said, yo, the first comment, he's like, why is Squirtle naked? I don't know. I just saw, oh, Squirtle, let me go and just add this. Like, I was like, oh, let me go show a naked Squirtle. Like, nah, we do not do the whole freaking Vaporeon stuff over here.
Yeah, but just to kind of like tap on to what we were talking about, it's like, I remember going and searching up because I was trying to look for some like emote work the other day, right? And I was just kind of like just trying to get ideas and see who had some stuff done. And I was looking at Legend ZA stuff, and there it is on eBay for like $1, $2, $3. You can buy Pokemon that they'll sell you on eBay. I'm like, what are we doing here?
That's crazy.
I'm like, I don't know, man. But what I wanted to ask you guys back on the TCG is like, how do you feel when people like Logan Paul did what they did with these box openings and stuff like that? Like, do you feel like it hurts the market in a way because prices are being shown? They're like, yo, no, we can make this much money now. More people are gonna want to go in and scout this, or like, what are y'all's thoughts on that?
I do think it is a pretty big stain to the TCG community. Because, like, it is fun to collect and to trade and all that other good stuff. And I'm sure that there's a market that becomes available for that because of the rarity, right? Like, a lot of the stamped, or not the stamped, but the marked Gen 1 cards. Like, I get that those can be crazy, but, like, millions? Or, like, just making it so that it's a non-enjoyable factor of the community, because now people are scalping and absolutely destroying an opportunity for somebody who may have just wanted for the shits and giggles to just get a card, right? And now they will never be able to obtain that card because in their local, in their local Targets, Walmarts, whatever retailers, they're all dried up because the scalpers went at 5 a.m. and absolutely destroyed every box that was there, and now some kid that just decided, or some parent that was like, my kid wants this card, you're never going to find it. You're not going to find it, and if you do find it, you're paying a pretty penny for it because scalpers. So I think that is definitely a huge issue.
Yo, and that's the thing too, like, I remember driving to work, and then I would pass a whole, like, GameStop, and, like, every, like, I don't know if they add new sets like once a month or once every other week or so, but I would always see like these people sitting down in their chairs right in front of GameStop, which I don't know how GameStop is closing down when like they are getting scalper business, but like the CEO is an idiot. But like there's people who would literally like sit down and wait. Like mind you, it's cold. It's like December, or it's like 5 a.m. in the morning where it's like 30 degrees outside. And I'm like, how are you here? Just like sitting here for these cards. And it's like, Pokemon, like, it really does change lives in a way when it comes to like these cards, because like, if you get a certain value, like, my whole question is like, how do you know which card is popular when like a new set comes out? Like, where it's like, okay, this card, like, I like it. This is gonna be $1,000. For real, but like
And
the
it
thing
got to
is,
do with like, the whole grading situation, because now I'm hearing like you send cards off to PSA and some of them are coming back like with damage on it, and it's like,
Ooh.
and then the cost to get the cards graded is already expensive enough. It's like I don't know, man.
yeah. And the thing too, first and foremost, I'd be scared to even send a card to like any PSA, because I'm like, yo, these people gonna steal my card. What if I got like $1 million card named the PSA?
Right.
They just add like a fake thingies, a paper or so like that, and then I try to sell it. They're like, yo, this is fake. I don't know how anybody could trust that, bro. But like, just sue GameStop, I guess. But when it comes to like Pokemon, and like, I know that like the Terra leaks and all that stuff, but like, how do you guys feel about like the next steps for Pokemon? Like, for example, like Gen 10, it looks really good or so, but it's gonna be it looks like the IGN meme where it's like too much water. I really feel like Gen 10 is going to be too much water.
I mean, I'm sure that they can circumvent. They can get around it somehow, right? I mean, like, Alola, they did Alola pretty well, because Alola was pretty much mostly water, but what they did is that they didn't focus the landscape on Alola's water, but they focused it on each individual island. So each individual island was kind of its own thing, had its own cities, its own story, its own places and stuff like that. So if they split it up in a way to where they can do that, it'll be great. But if it's trying to follow like this open world mechanic that they've been trying to push with Pokemon moving forward, we might run into an issue with too much water. They would just have to make the map pretty expansive. So like, I say expansive in the fact that like you get to an island after crossing some water, that island's gonna have to be pretty in depth, have a couple of cities, a couple of things to do, and so that you pretty much forget about the water at given points of the game. And then when you're faced with the water again, you're like, oh, okay, well, I gotta traverse the water. But if they can do that formula right, they should be all right.
Yeah, I feel like if they do something like with Wind Waker, because at a certain point, like traversing through, I don't know if you guys play Wind Waker, but like traversing through Wind Waker is pretty fun. Or like Phantom Hourglass. Like I feel like Phantom Hourglass was like my first Zelda, but like Phantom Hourglass, that was fun to like navigate around when you have like your own thing. Especially like if your Pokemon is riding and then like you could just have your Pokemon attack like a ship and stuff. But another thing too is, I don't know, I think we talked about it earlier, but Pokemon Pocopia is, you could pretty much have it preloaded on your Switch now. I don't know if you guys pre-ordered Pokemon Pocopia, but if you pre-order it right now, you could preload it. And Sarge and Oblivio, how do you feel about Pocopia? Because at first, everybody was like, yo, this game is ugly and stuff like that. We don't care about this game. But it took a couple PokeTubers and some other people to be like, oh, this game is really fire, actually. And now everybody changed their tune. How do you feel about that, Sarge? Do you feel like people are wishy-washy, or do you think that Pocopia
Scalpers and
the-
vendors, when you want to
the
make a deal,
Pokemon
they'll
game that,
negotiate
like,
down to the dollar.
makes
Like you can
the
offer 20
Pokemon
and they'll
company
say no, then it
hire
could be
more different
22. That's
studios
crazy.
to make
If
different
you're close
games.
enough to a PSA, sometimes I do store grading. You can drop it and come back.
Thing that came out that said Pokemon Pokopia was projected to be the highest selling Pokemon side game, right, or spin-off, if you will. If it lives up to the potential and by word of mouth, it becomes something like that. I could see that happening. Just because but here's okay. Minecraft, we know Minecraft is huge. It's huge.
Animal Crossing too.
Animal Crossing has always been a big game, but I felt like it became a even bigger game because of the time that it released, right? Which was during the pandemic where everybody was at home and had nothing to do, and they were like, "Oh, hey, play this game, blah blah blah." And I think people still have that urge to play something like Animal Crossing, or people have that, building itch from like Minecraft, right?
Mm-hmm.
So I think if Pokopia is done right, and I did, the other day I did a short stream of my, and me and my chat went and watched a little bit of the Treehouse, and we skimmed through it, and it's interesting what some of the stuff that they're going to do. I think based off of how big the actual map will be, and like how big you can actually explore and make this world, is going to be a deciding factor. But I do feel like the overall opinion is kind of a 50-50 because people don't know what to make of it. They maybe they have hopes for it, and are scared that it might not do well. And I feel like there's nothing wrong with it, but I feel like there's part of the Pokemon community that just says, "Hey, it's not my cup of tea," But I think there is a big category for the cozy building type simulation game, right? A life sim game. And if Pokemon does it right for their first time doing it, I think it could be a pretty big success. My opinion of Pokopia is the same when I first saw it. It's going to be a hit. I think it's going to be great to do, and I'm excited for it. And I already have it loaded, so I'm I'm ready.
And before we get to you, Oblivion, I just want to say, like, you brought up a really great point, because it's like when you look at games like Animal Crossing New Horizon, Stardew Valley, and all that stuff, because it brings more people into the Pokemon sphere, because like cozy games, like the demographic of like people that play cozy games, the amount of like hours of gameplay that you get and the creativity that you get is really good. And I really feel like Pokemon Pokopia is really gonna like broaden, or so like that. I think this game is gonna sell really high, because, bro, think about it, right? It's gonna bring more ladies to the Pokemon community. Yes, sir.
That's all that Jason cares about.
That's what's gonna happen. So, like, because like, it's so weird.
Check out the kid and then I built like what's going on?
It's gonna be a fun game too. Like it's gonna be a fun game too, because it's like it's a chill vibe, and like even though like I'm still getting used to Ditto or something like that, but I'm kind of happy he was picked. But just looking through the game, like it's something that you could give your like like your niece or nephew, and like they got fun playing it. Like like it's like one of those games where it's like it's for everybody, which I can really appreciate. But Oblivio, I'll leave it up to you for you to go next. Sorry, taking your spot.
No, you're good. I appreciate that. You guys pretty much covered all the bases there. I do think that it is going to be designed for a specific kind of gamer, which is pretty cool. A lot of people that do play a lot of the cozy gaming. I really wasn't into the big cozy gaming, not for a while. But then when I started to like play games with my sisters and stuff, where I started to do Minecraft, where I started to play Sims, where I started to play Animal Crossing, where I started to play Stardew Valley and stuff, I started to see the appeal. I'm like, nah, like this is fun. Like it's chill. You can just sit back and relax with this. Sometimes when you're not doing a whole lot, you just grind a little bit on your Animal Crossing island, and that's how I played my Animal Crossing experience first. Was just little by little. Whenever I had a little bit of downtime, I would just grind a little bit of this, a little bit of that, organize this, do this off job, and it was a lot of fun for me. Because now when you look back on the island, you're like, oh damn, like I did all of this bit by bit, but I got here you know, at my own pace, and that was fun. That was its own unique experience. And I feel like, just like Sarge said, if Pokopia does it right, they introduce the right elements, they make the replayability of it, which that's a big factor, because a lot of those cozy gaming games, something that they get down really good, you can start up a Minecraft world at any given time and it always goes in a completely different direction. It's never the same game twice. Animal Crossing to an extent does the same thing. Stardew Valley, I know for a fact, does the same thing, where the replayability, you have different endings, different characters, different interactions. So like with cozy gaming, they got that formula down, which is no two playthroughs are exactly the same. So if Pocopia is able to do that, they're gonna be fine. And it's a game that I look forward to playing myself. And now I don't have it preloaded like Sarge, but we'll definitely go.
I got it preloaded too.
I'm not as cool as y'all, but I'll definitely pick it up along the way, and we'll get to it. I'll be honest with you, I have been slacking, y'all, in as far as gaming goes and streaming. I'm sorry, guys, but I do hope that this is a good like welcome back to my streaming era, because I have been itching to do content creation. It's just been a little hard with the transition I've been doing into my life. But it's a good transition, and I'm happy, and things are moving the way that they should. So we'll get back to it.
Like, bro, when you get back to it, you're gonna be happy, positive place. Your community's gonna show love and stuff like that, bro. And here's another question, right?
When's Fire Red gonna be available?
You know, like he's the only Joshua. Like, I know that, right? You know, Joshua. That's pretty much how he is. Where he's like, I think it's just like understanding and stuff like that. Like I said, like yo, if you just ignore it, like it's my whole thing is like, yo, all right, somebody get banned if they just get disrespectful. Like, he's just asking the question over and over again. Like you just leave him to it. Like we answered the question, all he has to do is scroll up, and we answered it live. But Joshua, yes, you could play Fire Red and Leave Green, Fire Red and Leave Green, 9 a.m. If you want, I could put the link to the Pokemon Day in the Discord. So Joshua, if you're like, yo, where can I find it? Whenever it is, just type in the Discord. This is Joshua, and I will either send you a DM or I will post it in general chat. But like, here's the question I want to ask you guys though. Do you guys think we will be able to shiny hunt in
Banana Butters,
I
thank
swear
you
to God,
so
there's
much
nobody
for the
talking
love.
about
I
it. Like, I've
appreciate
never
the
seen a
bits.
video
Thank you.
of,
I
like,
really appreciate it.
even making the prediction of, yo, can you shiny hunt in Pocopia? Like, can you like re-roll your villagers?
Hey, that's actually a good question.
That would be
because I
fun.
read something today that kind of like hit me hard that it might not be possible. But I mean, I think like in a way it might still be possible, because from what I read was like you only encounter one of the type, right? So like if a Charmander rolls into your village, then it's like that's the only Charmander you're gonna roll into, right? But nothing says that that one Charmander can't pop in and be shiny, right? Or that Hitmonlee can't be shiny, or whatever the case is. But I don't know if there's gonna be ways to re-roll it. Maybe, I don't know. But I would like to see shiny Pokemon in there. You know, they don't gotta be all shiny, but maybe you have one that pops in. It's like, whoa, hold on, right?
That would be a fun Pokemon aspect to bring to a cozy gaming kind of sphere. Is like, I want an all shiny villager or all shiny. You know what I mean? Like that would be fun.
Yeah, the video to drop.
Like, they do have that, like in Animal Crossing. Like,
All the
do
rare
have
ones,
that.
yeah.
The dude with the glasses, that's the cat. Like, or the Cleopatra that everybody's kind of disgusted with, like Vaporeon. But other than that too, man, like I think that like if we get shiny hunting in this game, that would be actually pretty cool. I'm not gonna lie. Another question to ask you guys is the in-game exclusive Pokemon, like Moslax, Pikachu, Smeargle, and stuff. Like, do you think that we are going to get those Pokemon in, like, you could transfer it transfer those Pokemon via Pokopia to like you know the current Pokemon game, which would probably be like Gen 10, or do you think that like sometime in Gen 10 they will be sent to us as a via mystery gift? Like, how do you or will they just only be for that game? Like spiky-eared Pichu.
I feel like that's what I felt like. They'd probably be more so like that. It would be cool if they did some kind of a cameo for them in Gen 10, or if they did include them, that'd be kind of cool. But they would have to, because it's a mainline Pokemon game, they would have to include whatever specific. Geez, Banana Butter, thank you so much for the bits. I really appreciate that. I do love Noah. Don't say that I don't. That's crazy. I'm just in the middle of
Chimchar.
we're in the middle of my streamline process here, or streamlining my thoughts rather. I do think that it would go more along the lines of like Spiky-eared Pichu, because they would have to then take into account for competitive reasons, like if those Pokemon are, if it's just like an aesthetic change, that's fine. But with most specific or like with Pokemon like that, like with the Spiky-eared Pichu, you weren't able to trade out of the game for that specific reason, because they wouldn't be able to account for it in like online compatibility stuff. So if they don't run into that issue, they would be fine. If it's just like an aesthetic change that doesn't change the stats or anything, that'd be fantastic. But if not, you know, Jesus, Banana Butters, thank you so much for the bits. I really appreciate you. Oh, you guys are showing me love today, and I really appreciate it. Pokemon Day is tomorrow, and I will be live, guys. Well, let me not say that. I'm sorry. I will be covering Pokemon Day, absolutely. I will be working, though, so I don't know if I can be live. But if I can sneak it, I definitely will. I definitely will, guys.
That's the thing I hate is like, yo, Pokemon Company, can you just put that in the afternoon? Like, do you guys know what 5 p.m. means? Like, there's a thing called 5 p.m. Like I don't want to have to like. It's like I wake up in the morning, I'm already like in work, and then after I have to be like, oh, like I'm doing the job, and I'm just like why? But one thing I would like to see, let's just say like the Pokemon Pokopia Pokemon could go into the main games via like Gen 10. Maybe they could do something to where like you guys know in like the Pokemon Home app on the mobile phone, right? And you know, like if you catch all of the Pokemon in like that specific game, how you can get like a shiny legend mythical Pokemon, right? If you guys didn't know that, yo, bro, download Pokemon Home and start getting your Pokédex done and stuff like that, bro. And make sure you put that in the Pokemon Home, because you can actually get shiny mythical Pokemon if you complete the Pokédex, but it has to be that specific game or so like that. So if it's BDSP, you got to get all the Pokemon and BDSP into it, and then you'll get your mythical. But I was thinking that maybe Pokopia might have like some type of like in-game like achievements or so like that like that's tied to Pokemon Home. And with those ties, maybe it's like, all right, yo, you got this many people into your village, or you completed this part of the game or so like that, and then you get a mystery gift of Pikachu or Moslax or so. Like I think that like that would be a great way to like incorporate Home. I feel like more Pokemon games need a like they should do stuff like that with Home, because I'm not gonna lie, it makes me want to play it makes me want to use Pokemon Home. It makes me want to like complete my Pokédex or play older games to like complete my Pokédex or so like that with those like mystery gifts. The only thing I hate about that is that like, yo, it's just you don't get your name. Like it's just like, oh, Home or so like that. It's the only thing I hate. It's like I like it with my own trainer tag, but
That's true.
yeah.
Fellas, real quick before we hop into the next topic, though, I do have to get going. It is getting kind of late for me, because I got to get up and get to work early in the morning tomorrow. But I appreciate you guys for asking me to join, asking me to put my 2 cents in here. It's been a lot of fun hanging with y'all. I hope that we can do more stuff like this in the future. Maybe after we experience the 30th anniversary tomorrow, we can come back. We can do some kind of collaboration where we all discuss what happened in the 30th, or just kind of see what we got going on. But y'all can hit me in the DMs with that. If you guys haven't already, please go ahead and give Sarge Plays some love, and go ahead and give JasonHendrixs some love. I tagged their information, or sorry, Noah tagged their information because he's a G. Up right there above, it's in my pinned comment, so you guys can go ahead and go to their links. Are you guys going to continue the discussion for much longer?
It's all up to Sarge.
I'm chilling. I'm good.
Or so
I'm
go
gonna
ahead.
keep going for a little bit longer.
Head over to their channels so they can continue the discussion with you guys. You guys can continue to hang out. I have to peace out though. I am getting a little tired and I do have work early in the morning. But I appreciate y'all. Really, this was awesome.
Yeah, man. I definitely had to, hit you up and stuff like that because, like I said, if I were to do a collaboration, it's like these two people are like my friends in the Pokemon community and stuff like that. Like I've known Oblivio for like when I started streaming, like literally like it was like my first collab. Like basically like he taught me how to play VGC, stuff like that, how to competitive battle in a way. So it's like, like of course I was like, yo, because I hit up Sarge. I was like, yo, I need to hit up Oblivio too, because I was like, it only makes it's only right or something like that, where it's like, showing love to people who was here in the beginning and stuff like that, and like, we gotta. If I were to grow with some people, it'd probably be people that I appreciate, so which is via you guys. So I was like, yeah, let me go contact you guys. Let's go get this done.
Appreciate y'all. I'm gonna hit you guys in the DMs for right now though. I'm gonna head off to bed. I'm pretty tired.
Yeah.
Oh man, get some rest. You have a good night.
Thank you too. Appreciate you guys.
Peace.
And for everybody else viewing, I appreciate you for being here so much. Banana Butters, thank you so much for the bits and the love. I am pretty much dying. Wish I could go ahead and raid them right now, but I do gotta get going. So as always, you guys have been amazing. I've been Trainer Oblivio and Trainer Oblivio. Checking out. Peace, guys. You have a good night. Thank you.